Right. I've been called to come on and do a reading for a few days, so I'm trying to make time now. I don't know if the camera's gonna hold up, but it's just been a really intense, according to Pam Gregory, geomagnetic storm, and I think like, a lot of us are just feeling with the sun that has been coming out over the past days as well. It's been really powerful and really intense. And I just wanted to pick a few cards. Well, I didn't want to. I've been asked to pick a few cards to perhaps answer or just be a confirmation for people's questions around transformations that they're going through at the minute. And perhaps, you know, there's quite a few changes in directions. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that at the minute. I don't know if you can see the fern heaven, but anyway. So just trying to get the fairy fern vibes for everybody today. And I don't know, it feels like quiet before the storm, calm before the storm at the minute. And storms and towers don't always necessarily indicate a negative thing. They're just a massive shake up and shift so that we have a perception or a reality check or change of perspectives. All right, we're starting with a nature deck, and I don't know where we're at. That's interesting. Yeah, again, I think this has come up in another reading, so whoever's watching, this could be a theme for myself included, the collective, about pulling back. Let's see if anything else wants to come out. A sec. That was too many. But the first one for the start of the reading is the big picture, number 6. So 6 is a nice little number of love. And I think there's a lot of rainbow energy. A lot of people might be feeling the rainbow energy at the minute. That sort of, you know, the work that we do to get to our personal victories and rewards. And rewards is not a physical, tangible thing. A reward can just be being able to live at a pace that we desire for ourselves, being able to live in an environment that enhances the gifts that we have and enhances our peace in our heart and regulates our nervous system. That can be the rewards that I talk about in my videos, and not like a reward as in coming first place or being in competition with anybody, or having, you know, to have physical gifts sent our way, which obviously is nice, but we're talking about energy. And so someone's getting stuck in the minutiae or overthinking, and I try not to keep this too long as a reading, but what I've realised is when we surrender to this as a feminine, divine feminine, this flow, this moment by moment evolution of where we're at in any one moment in time, which takes practice, and I don't really know what it is, but it's just I'm intentional with it. I stumble, but that is my main intention, is to be moving with the moment. Is that there is still a vision, or, you know, something inside the dream, the manifestation at the end of this sort of day-to-day, moment-by-moment picture. Like, so we surrender to it, or we don't know how that might manifest. We don't know which ways 363 things are going to come our way. But we don't need to know. If we are not here to question our faith, if we put our faith in a higher creator, in a universal intelligence, in a greater in a higher consciousness, especially if we do believe that there are other entities, energies are out here from higher realms and within the cosmic consciousness space, we'll always be guided. And when we do the work and we kind of work more out of our north node and our south node, then what we want becomes more of for our highest good, not just the sort of egoic, and ego's not a bad thing, egoic south node slight distortions of what we want, because those things actually hinder our growth mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally. So big picture, someone's overthinking. I'll see if there's any more. I don't think they really want me to pull any more from this deck, but let's just see. Yeah, and I think with the mention of overthinking, 32's come out at number 5. So changes, we've got 6, 5. It's almost like the countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1. Trust your own understanding. And so with the overthinking that we mentioned, we know what's gonna unravel for us when we act with pure loving intention, regardless of how we are viewed upon by external energies, people, whatever. We know what we know. So don't question it. I think it's saying about twos here, 222s, because I'm maybe being asked to pick 2 from the decks. Sometimes it's just whatever flies out, sometimes it's 3. So we're going to be connecting with the goddess, the priestess, the high priestess, the divine feminine energies now with this deck. And if there is anything that anybody who's viewing in a loving or in a spiteful way, there might be something to come out for the collective consciousness here about how we can anchor into our heart more, because what's cracking, look at that too, beautiful. And at the bottom of the deck, hidden knowledge, Akashic records, which is a video I did the other day. So a lot of us are talking about the Akashic records at the minute. Things are being cracked open for us from past lives, if we are open to believing that. And so what has come out is at number 11, wisdom. So again, there's 2 swans here. Wisdom, learning, joy, art, music. And with the wisdom, it's a number 11 card. So with the wisdom 11, that's angelic connection. That is 1-1. It's alignment. It's like the 1-1s, 2-2s. And then sacred purpose, eternal flame, ancestral legacy. And it's really funny that the eternal flame is coming up, because I was doing a few googling moments on that, and I came across an actress in, I think it was France or Italy in the 1920s. Here's the same name as a friend of mine, so that's interesting. The eternal flame, I don't know if people know about this concept, but this is the fire continually burning. I am connected to all that was, all that is, and all that will ever be. And so sometimes we forget this eternal light, this eternal flame that is burning inside of us, from that's the torch that's been passed from us to us from ancestors. And sometimes it takes connecting with somebody else's flame to re-spark that. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a physical, touching, sexual way, but it can be sparked by sexual energy. Sexual energy is a very, very healing energy. You know, I'm not talking about going and spreading the seed far and wide. We're just talking about anchoring and harnessing what we have in our, not anchoring, because it can't be anchored, it's the sacral, but flowing with the water element inside of us. So connecting to that more. Do we need more hydration? Do we need to go into the sea? Do we need to cleanse? Do we need to be dancing and more fluid? And sacred purpose. So there is a lot of, again, this reading, or they've asked me to come on, is about the transformation, the deep internal transformations that many of us are going through now, because this light is just really cracking a lot of the patterns that we're trying to get out of. And so that we can see ourselves fully, so that we can, 824, so that we can find the purpose, the sacred purpose, because sometimes it was not sometimes, but for me, it has come not of this world. So the moments that I've connected to higher self have been in moments where I've been in a trance-like state, with or without herb or mushrooms. As I said, I don't abuse any of this stuff because I tend to get called into ceremonies with psilocybin, so I don't actually do it. You know, I don't do it today. When I get the call, they give me dates, and there was a year in my life where I went through and I did a series of portals, unbeknownst to me, of what I was connected to and certain codes that I was unlocking. But there's something about being more silent, like people are moving in silence at the minute, because everybody's going through such huge chaotic change. If we start to connect or attach to other people's energies, then we get pulled off from our path and our big picture, which is really not what we went to be allowing into our lives. It's like we harness our own sacred energy and we can connect, but we don't allow the invasion of anything external to come and knock us off our path. And nothing can, when you are working or living in a sacred purpose, if you believe we are connected to higher consciousness or higher beings. All right, so I've got love out the Mermaid deck, so people might be, and it's just this water theme is continual. Like, I've been having dreams of tsunamis and flooding for at least a year now, so things that have been coming up around the world are just what the seers have been seeing from prophecy or past lives. But you know, Noah as well, lots of things keep coming up for me, recurring in my dreams and in the words that I hear and when I connect with the other side. So so the card that flew out the Mermaid deck is the Contentment, and the one that didn't fly up, but it was at the bottom of the deck when I stopped and they said stop, that's the second card, 1033, is because it is the eternal life force. It is what has been oppressed and pushed down over the ages, because even with the witches, I don't know why this is coming up again, but like with someone's sacred knowledge of herbs, that's a deep love of nature, a deep connection to nature. That's a love. When we know herbs, when we know flowers, when we know whatever our desire in the natural world to learn and study and observe and exchange with, you know, I cut a rose, give thanks, ask for it, put it on my altar, or do whatever. It's love. So I'll do it in order. I'll work with the Contentment. There's a lighthouse here that is shining a light, as we've talked about, or Pam did, you know, geomagnetic, huge storms. And we've seen the weather, and we just need to look to nature to see. Is there's a huge lighthouse here that's drawing people towards them as either a warning saying, you know, there's land here, or if you need to seek shelter, there is land here. There's kind of two ways that things can work, and I think as above so below, there is this polarity, the duality. I don't know if that's the dissolution of that at the minute, because I still do exist in duality to many to huge extents. 1155 on the clock before, because it's the masculine and the feminine, and because I walk through the realms, it's hard for me, and I guess I am part of unity consciousness, but the duality of everything is still very present. Like, I feel it. I feel the yin and the yang. And so I think the Contentment here is like, there is this beacon of light or hope that we can always tap into, you know, that with the sacred purpose, we'll never forget. With the eternal flame, we'll never forget. I mean, it's similar to the eternal flame. You know, there is a lighthouse that always has its lights on for sailors. There is a water theme, a sailor theme. That could just be past life things coming up, because Atlantis is rising now, and so there is a lot of stuff that is coming up from past life lives as sailors, or as sailors. So Contentment, yeah, I think it's don't forget the bigger picture. Like, if things are intense at the minute, our heart will always lead us to where we need to go. The eternal flame never goes out when we hold our faith, when we keep faith. And I don't know, I feel like somebody's asking a question now while I'm going through these cards, and so it's interesting because these can be confirmation cards, more celestial realms. So there is definitely something here about releasing soul patterns and soul contracts from past lives. That was at the bottom of the deck, and that is not the two that flipped out, which I'm going to get on the floor now, on the grass. Oh, I love it when Spirit does that. So what I was saying is, I felt that somebody was asking a question during this reading. And in this deck of like 52 cards or whatever, there is a yes and a no. It's the only deck that I've got of those kind of specific confirmations. So we did just get a yes. And the reason why I love this is not only because it's a woman, the pyramid energy, a lot of Egyptian energy coming up, the holy trio, the Trinity, the triad, is because it's just the colours, the vibrations. It's like playing on that rainbow energy from before, which we need to be connecting to, because it's this prism of, you know, is it 7? I can't remember, sometimes my brain goes, you know, 7 is alignment, and with the rainbows, however we learnt the rhyme at school of all the different colours on the rainbow, it's magic, and we live in a world of magic. People think I do magic. Everybody's interpretation of magic's very different. I'm not out here doing spells on anybody, so, you know, people have to take that as they will. But when people have not met powerful souls before, it's the cynicism and skepticism of human existence that thinks that you can't do that without having done something bad against somebody else or whatever. But listen, karmic retribution, karmic justice is will always play out for 1505, and the pure hearts will get the rewards that they want in their life, they deserve, they desire. And when I say rewards, again, this is not necessarily a physical thing. This is the way that we choose to live our existence out, to play how our reality plays out. And then mentioning, you know, the 3 women, which actually there are loads of men in some of these cards, but there is a massive on all the cards there's all females, all different types of women of all ages from all around the world. The divine feminine collective is rising in its magnetism, and we are also supporting the divine masculine. Now, that's not women helping the men, it's the energies. The divine feminine energy right now, flowing and working with water, the flow state, the surrender, is supporting the masculine in ways that are needed. And so after the 3, oops, that's a lot of energy. Sorry, I've been in the garden, so, you know, I don't really like dirty hands. Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? So someone asked the question, they have the answer, which is yes. And again, how are you being called to step up and lead connects to the sacred purpose. We can't be dilly-dallying anymore, really, if we want to be moving with this incredible energy and these changes that are happening in the world around us. How are we being called to step up and lead? Because on the vibration that I continue to try to maintain, which you slip in and out because I go to different realms or whatever, is love, which means everything is possible, which means fear does not exist. This is a fearless existence. Love is, as I've said before, is all-encompassing, painful, powerful. It's everything. Love is everything, and that has been suppressed and repressed in some of the past lives that we've lived, and that is why some of us have always or have never given up on this idea of a deep, powerful love and bond across the ages, because we've felt it, we've done it. 1727. We can't make stuff up. Nothing has been made, like, we can't make stuff up. Everything that we all think is always in collective, it's always been manifested or lived out in a different dimension, different reality, different timeline. So it's just, if we open to believing that. They're the 4 main decks that I don't think this is going to be a short one. They're just saying go up to 22 minutes, it's 17. So I've got 3 other decks. So much feminine energy, maybe too much as well at the minute. Please, as we're flowing into this period of rest and receiving and stuff, is also to remember, like, we might have to still get shit done, and that is the masculine energy, 1811. And because I'm in the garden, that's too many, and I need to just connect with the intention here. Is like, we're in the garden, not my garden, and honouring the moments shared in the outside space, in the healing gardens across the UK, across Europe, across the world. Gardens. Right, 2 popped out. Oh no, 4, that's too many. So hold on, they want me to put everything back and reshuffle. I don't know what that is. So if we have anything from the natural world that we can connect with, a plant, potentially a tea or a ointment, that might be, I think I know what this is. Because it is dragon energy, so this is quite insane that sort of Avalon and Merlin and dragons are coming up again. And again, I mentioned the tower at the start. It's like, not all towers are negative, they just are massive, like crash to the reality. And I said, this is why it's so funny, is that I mentioned about 22 minutes. This card is number 22, which at the beginning of the read I was talking about doubles and duality. So it's a tower moment, there's a lot of flames, so it could be the eternal flame sort of like busting through everything that has been this illusion that we've created. The eternal flame comes to bring that tower moment. And 22. It is nice when you can connect and have this relationship with spirit where things actually just make you laugh in the end, rather than going through consistent pain and suffering that we choose, because it's all a choice. We do have to heal and let things go, but once that is done, the liberation that is felt after like feeling the pain and moving through it is powerful. So that is why they wanted me to shuffle again, because the card, the 22, is quite important, and the realm of dragons. So somebody might need to be 2030, might need to be 2030. Oh gosh, that's confirmation for me. So yeah, there's obviously lots of us have different interpretations of what's moving through now between 2020 and 2030. That's a message for me, so I don't need to go any more on that. So tower moments, allow things to fall. The more that we're in the resistance state, which is nothing like water, be like water. If we are not in the if we're resisting this tower, it's just delaying the abundance, it's delaying what we have chosen in this lifetime, because everything that we have built around us, if we're living in love vibration, we have chosen this. We've decided that this is how we want to be experiencing the earthly plane, the human life. Because, and it's really interesting, I've only got 1 minute left, so yeah, they don't want me to do much more talking, so I'll shut up. Interesting. Summer solstice is a big date for somebody. We just got the 22 card on this. This is a 21 of June in Northern Hemisphere. Again, the fire, flames, eternal flame, solar plexus, that fire energy, that dragon energy, that power is coming forth for the people. I think so many people have been on this journey for a while. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, or it could have been a month. You might have had an accelerated rate where things just went boom, 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 boom for you and fell into lock and key. Someone might like that series. It is brilliant. 2211 on the clock. So summer solstice, they don't want me to talk much more, is significant. It's also the sun. We get solar downloads, and it doesn't happen to have on the day with the sun, but you can let the sun energy, they've gone everywhere. Sun energy on our bodies, and it will come through us in the days after that, however it lands and recalibrates in our cells. Oh my gosh, 2244, they don't really want me to go past 23 for some reason, so sorry for the rushing, but there you go. Oh, sorry, that is big energy. I'm not saying anything else, I'm going. Ciao.